Today's the day that we're going to try to put some rock in this shelter logic. We've got Ham the roller here with us. Bobby's on it. I think he's enjoying it. And Dave and I are going to put rock in. We're going to try to get this leveled up. A little bit of crown in the middle maybe to get the water to run off. And we'll take you along for the ride. Let's get started. It took Bobby a minute or two to get used to Ham the roller, but he's comfortable now. And he's just going back and forth, back and forth. There was some risk that will puncture the plastic that we put down with the roller. Probably very likely actually, but I wanted to get it compacted, so we'll go with it. Rock's a little bit chunky, right, because it's wet. It's going to be hard to get it to come out of there smooth. In our prior videos discussing the Yanmar, we have not discussed the hydraulic function, the joystick for the loader. And I don't want to go into detail here because I want to do measurable testing like we did with the 3 and 4 series quite a while ago. But at a high level, I just want to say that it's very smooth, one of the smoothest mechanical controls I've ever used. If you saw our earlier videos where we were moving dirt in the yard, you saw the truck bring in one of the 2 loads of rock we got here. These are 73s. That would be 3/4 inch all the way down to dust. I like this mix for this type of work. I don't like it for my driveway. I much prefer the look of a clean stone without any dust in it for my driveway. That dust just turns to mud when it gets rained on anyway. The other advantage to clean stone is that it goes further. A truckload is bigger because it doesn't have all the weight of that dust. But this style does pack very well and turns out to be a pretty good foundation from my experience. One thing you'll not see me buy for my property is the big 2-inch stone. No matter how deep I've tried to bury that stuff, it'll still bubble back up and I'll hit it with my lawnmower. We had the laser out in here and we realized that we needed to add about 3 inches, we think, on this side over here. The side that Bobby's not been working on. And so that's kind of what we're doing here. Once we get it level, then we'll take the rest of the rock and just kind of distribute it evenly. When I say level, I mean roughly. Like I say, we're going to try to crown it in the center eventually. But for now, we're just going to get this rock in here best we can. Have Bobby go over it a little bit at a time. It's coming out more like concrete than rock, so it's hard for me to spread. Now, of course, if I had Mike Morgan here, he'd be able to spread it easily. But he's not here, so have to deal with me. Dave's a little light in the tail. He doesn't have any rear ballast. I shouldn't say he doesn't have any. We do have the wheel weights and the rim guard, so it's not too bad. But he's only got the 49-inch bucket. I'm not sure where he found that, but it came out of somewhere when we moved the shelter logic. That's been my experimental bucket over the years. If you take close notice, you'll see that Dave is switching tractors ever so often. When he needs to do close-up work, he uses little Johnny X. I think I like what it's doing, Dave.
It looks good to me. We're built up on this side a bit more, and I think we got it level across the front, or I mean, not level, but better.
Better, yeah.
We reduced the average.
So we'll check again after he runs over this a time or two with our laser. It's sticking to the
front
roller.
scraper is not.
Front scraper's not good.
No.
Is that supposed to be a steel scraper or a rubber scraper?
That looks rubber to me.
Maybe it's that poly, I don't know. It needs a new one.
Definitely needs a new one. Is the front supposed to vibrate as well?
Is it not?
It does not appear to be vibrating. The rear is, but the front is not.
Okay, well let me look into that. Now it is. The rear's still going, isn't it? Yeah.
The front vibrates an awful more than the rear does.
Are we going to be able to work without improving that scraper?
It's not leaving it like it was, that's for sure. We might have to do something about the scraper.
That wet rock, though, is the problem. See, that's where the rock is hitting the frame on the coming up on the other side.
Right.
I guess as long as it runs, it's all right. It's doing the job. Yeah, it feels like playing bumper cars. You're going to have to learn how to judge to make your donuts offset right. It was amazing to me how after we ran over it several times with that vibrating roller, that the rock seemed to disappear and all of the mud or dust or whatever it is came to the top. We don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. We'll see what happens. Once in a while it picks up a piece of mud. If it weren't for that, it'd be doing like a perfect job.
Well, if we let it dry out.
Yep. If you just run that roller over from now till tomorrow at this time, it'll be pretty smooth. Well, here we go. The first official item going in the new shop.
Yeah.
Christy, did you get a good view of how smooth and level that is before we rut it up with the fork truck? I hate to slow down, Dave. I don't know what I'm facing here. How are we doing? Pretty bad?
You can tell you were there.
Rear wheels?
Front more than the rear, but you're definitely making the ground move.
That's not good.
It's like driving on almost set up concrete. He's not stuck yet.
No.
I'm trying to think of what this reminds me of. It's almost like a real soft carpeted floor, the look of it, you know?
Yeah.
Because it all moves together. It's crazy. Because it's not just where he's driving at, it's all underneath him. It's like almost like a waterbed, you know?
We decided later it was somewhat like bubble gum, but as I watch here, I'm thinking silly putty. I don't know about you, but I thoroughly loved playing with silly putty when I was a kid. Well, Dave, I'm pretty sure that we're not going to be able to bring all this stuff in with the forklift.
I thought possibly we could run the roller in here in between trips. Maybe that might benefit us. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
But one thing's for sure, a lot more leg room.
A lot more leg room. I like how you put
yep.
that. The width is going to be nice. And I think we're still going to have as much space at the top, you know, maybe even a little bit more.
As we did, yes, for sure.
Yeah. And we're not going to try to add any extra shelf here. That's not what we're talking about. We weren't able to put some of our attachments in as far as we wanted because they would hit the tarp at the top.
Right.
But we may not be able to get everything in today, but at least we can get the racking set up and get some of the stuff out of our existing shop.
Get our shop back.
So we can work again.
The board at the bottom really helps.
Thanks,
That's
Chris.
A brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, but I bet this right here, solid.
Think so? So we need to just keep driving this thing back and forth.
Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then do the roller to get it all nice and smooth again.
Unfortunately, if we drove right beside it, it would bring that up.
Probably.
A little bit. So a couple runs of that and then squish it with the roller?
I don't know.
Combination of both of them?
So I'll try to run right beside that next time. We'll see what it does when we get the beams.
Yeah, so we're going to do 1 16 on one side, 2 16s on the other. It's a 16, a 16, and a 12. 2 12s and a 16 is the idea. We end up with 44 feet for one and 40 feet for the other, which gives us space at the end. And me and Tim discussed it, and the idea was we'd put them all the way to the rear. That way, like the TS10 or the 12-foot batwing mower, those could be parked at the ends out here, and we wouldn't have to come in and make crazy turns. And then at some point, possibly, we discussed putting pallet racking along the back of this as well.
Ah, okay.
The problem with that is, and you guys might notice this in your kitchens, where the corners are at, you end up with that weird space, and nobody really knows what to do with it. So
A lazy Susan.
we need a really big one.
Yeah. A lazy Susan for equipment.
Although that would be fairly entertaining.
I'm already feeling better. Couldn't haul that load with the tractor. It was just too big. So, but the fork truck's making a mess in here, so I don't know how much more of that we can do either. So, but we've got the shop. I think Ham's got a pretty bad hydraulic leak. I believe that's what it is. I can't tell for sure whether it's diesel fuel or hydraulic fluid, but it was way low on hydraulic fluid. We added some. Gonna let Bobby roll this out a little bit, get rid of some of these ruts, and then I think we're just gonna have to leave this, let it dry. Maybe it'll be like a road and won't be so spongy after a few days of drying. Christy's favorite toy. Well, you got to have a little fun too.
Yeah, Vinny's my favorite. Although I really like the new Yanmar. And it has cab.
Yeah, it does.
Spitfire? Is that
I don't
one?
know. Spitfire? What do you think of that for a name? We're still tossing these around. We're not really a fan of Yanni or Yanni. I don't know why.
Or
Just
Big
doesn't-
Red. And Clifford, we already had a truck named Clifford, so
Yeah,
don't feel like we could do that.
I think your dad enjoyed the roller. We're gonna let that dry a little bit more, and then maybe he can roll it again every day for the next 2 weeks.
He might begin not to like it if he has to do that.
It's been good to have your dad here.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, I think he's enjoyed it. We have different equipment than he has.
Yeah, and it's been a kind of a good way for him to get out and try to do a little rehab.
Lots of firsts for him.
Yeah, Dave is inside repairing some pallet racking that we kind of messed up a little bit during some of our dirt moving, and that's great to have Dave too.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah. We got a lot more to do with regards to the building. Obviously, we don't even have everything put back in the shelter logic here.
Not yet.
But we've got more building project work upcoming. We've talked about it. It's getting almost warm enough now for us to work on the dock again. And we are excited to show my brainchild as to how to get the dock in the water. You know what that is, right? I'm going to dig a channel all the way over here.
Yeah. I'm not sure I'm looking forward to this.
Oh well. I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and we appreciate you guys watching our videos. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on
Tractor Time with Tim.
Honor your father and your mother, so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you.